Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Casanova 2 Times. Now, Casanova 2 Times has been locked up for several months now. It seems like this case has been going on forever and it really hasn't even started yet. We're in the early stages of his actual case. Now, for those of you who've been lost or been living under a rock lately, Casanova 2 Times got locked up with 17 other people who are allegedly a part of this notorious blood gang in New York. Now, it was in a RICO indictment, and they were saying that Casanova took parts in the gang by providing them with guns and profits from illicit substances, and he was named all throughout the indictment with all 17 other people, right? Now, one of those people was a gentleman by the name of Jayecee Crisler. Now, Jayecee was allegedly Casanova's shooter. There's no other way to put it. But he's been going through it on his own. Now, we found out about him in a video or a story that was released a couple of months ago that talked about a shooting that took place in King of Diamonds nightclub back in October 2020, I believe. Now, this situation was crazy because it was at the very same time that Casanova was trying to get bail in this federal RICO case. So it complicated things for him and made it real hard on him. Now, Casanova 2 Times and Jaycee's relationship based on the indictment is something of a calling shots and him telling him what to do type of relationship, but it looks like Jayecee had his limits. Now, he's been getting into it with his lawyer, and obviously a lot of this information has come out to the public. And it looks like they wanted him to actually turn informant and snitch. Now, I'm going to be basing this off a report that I seen with allhiphop.com. I think they did some good work, so we're going to go based off of that. And they've got a lot of screenshots and things that I want to talk about. So before we get into the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this situation with Casanova 2 Times and one of his alleged associates in this case. Now, like I said before, we're going to be going off this story from allhiphop.com. And basically, the headline says a lot. It says, Casanova's associate asked for new lawyer after attempt to turn him into an informant. So basically, off of that, we can already, figure out that they tried to flip dude, man, who's in Casanova's case, and he wasn't going for it. Now, the story continues. It says, a gang member who allegedly shot 2 people for Casanova claims his lawyer is railroading his case. Stop right there. So basically, he thinks his lawyer is intentionally railroading his case in order to flip him, man. So, okay, let's continue. A gang member accused of shooting 2 people on behalf of Casanova is begging for a new lawyer. In January 2021, Jarrett Jayecee Crisler was arrested for allegedly shooting 2 people in front of King of Diamonds strip club in Miami in October of 2020. The shooting took place after a member of the Crips approached Casanova for flashing rival gang signs. Now, according to this story, man, and even based on the report from the New York Post that we went over in my video that I did about this originally, the feds, they have some pretty strong evidence right now. At least they feel they do. And even in this story, it says the feds claim Jayecee shot 2 people in the stomach during the ensuing melee, and they have some pretty strong evidence, his own text messages. So in that story, they talked about, or in the story from the New York Post, they basically talked about what the text messages said. And here on allhiphop.com, it looks like somebody was digging into Discovery or something like that, but they've got actual screenshots of the text messages. And basically, you can see the communication allegedly between Jayecee and another person talking about the shooting. Now, it continues to say that Crisler has been trying desperately to mount his defense, but he claims his lawyer, Dominique Porco, interesting name, is not looking out for his best interests. So it looks like, man, his lawyer, Dominique Porco, was trying to get him to flip. I mean, that's what he feels like. And he goes into detail with a letter to say that. So let's look at that real quick. Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man, and I know you're enjoying this video, but make sure you go and you follow me on social media platforms like Instagram, and also go to my Twitter page and make sure you hit that follow button there so you can get the latest and greatest updates of when I'm dropping my videos. And man, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button so we can spread this video around, and we trying to get 2,000 likes, so run them likes up. All right. Okay, so in the story, it breaks down the letter that Jayecee sent. Now, Jayecee is the guy who's the alleged associate of Casanova, and they break down the letter about his lawyer to the judge in the case. Now, you might have heard the judge's name before. I talked about, I guess his name is Philip Harpin, and he's the guy who also denied Casanova's bond, but we're going to get to that in a second. Now, in this letter, Jayecee, he says these things, and I'll read it verbatim from what they put in their story. It starts off, and they quote him saying this. Okay, now before I get to this letter, it's written in some broken English, man. So when there's some hiccups in there, I'll point them out. Now, it does say this. It says, I feel that Mr. Porco does not have my best interest in this case. And instead of me being a step closer to going home to my family, I feel he will push me to the other direction. Jayecee said, since the beginning of my case, Mr. Porco used scare tactics, but regardless, he used scare tactics to have me admit to charges that I have not committed without even asking me what if anything happened. Now, it continues by talking, well, let's unpack a little bit of that. So basically, he's saying that his lawyer was using scare tactics to make him admit to things that he didn't do in order to get him to cooperate, which is a big statement to say the least, man. Now, it continues on in this story by saying this. It says, in fact, Crisler claims his lawyer has been attempting to get him to flip and testify against Cas and the United Gorilla Stone Nation. Crisler said Porco was taking advantage of his ignorance of jail and laws to his advantage to try to scare him into cooperating. So they feel like the lawyer was just trying to scare them into cooperating from the giddy up and wasn't trying to do anything as far as getting him free or even solving his case in his favor. Now, this is a telltale sign about having a public defender, obviously, because it goes on to say this. It says Crisler is hoping to get rid of Porco as his public defender in favor of a lawyer who will be focused on his defense instead of flipping him. So he's saying that the lawyer is basically, his whole focus the first two visits was just to flip him. Like, hey, man, you gonna tell? Hey, you gonna tell? Like, trying. Now, to be honest, from everything I know, it seems like that's always the intent early on. You know what I mean? To see if you can cut some type of deal or whatnot if you're going to be an informant. I guess this dude just said, forget that. I ain't going out like that. So he's putting it on Front Street like I wasn't with that and I'm changing lawyers. Which is, I mean, for some people, that's going to be admirable. They're going to look up to it. But, you know, I don't know, man. It's hard to guess on these situations because it's so many different variables. And then the potential for, you know, life-changing events to happen is crazy, man. So let's continue. Now, the story continues by saying the shooting in Miami was used against Casanova and cited as a reason for a judge to deny the rapper's $2.5 million bail proposal, claiming he was a flight risk and a danger to the community. Now, when that happened, I did a story about his bail getting denied, and this shooting case was levied heavy against Casanova in his bond hearing. And, you know, I don't know if that's fair or not, because he didn't, just because somebody allegedly acted on his behalf doesn't mean that he won't stand trial and go to his trial. I mean, I don't see how those things are connected. You know what I mean? Because to be real, Casanova turned himself in. Remember, he was already driving to Atlanta. He turned around, went back once he got all the alerts and all the notices, got with a lawyer and turned himself in. So I don't know how they can say he's a flight risk and a danger to the community. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, it finishes by saying Casanova has been lodged in the Westchester County Jail since December 4th, 2020, after he surrendered to police. The rap star was one of the 18 members. Yeah, we know all that. And Casanova is charged with racketeering conspiracy to knowingly and intentionally manufacture, distribute, or dispense or possess with intent to manufacture, distribute, or dispense a controlled substance. He is also charged with a possession of a firearm and further adherence of a drug trafficking crime. Casanova's next hearing is due August 2nd, and I'm pretty sure we all gonna be tuned in. Like the last video I did about this was only a few days ago, and there weren't that many developments on Casanova's side. It was more about Troy Ave dissing Casanova and the situation that he's in. But man, it just doesn't look any better. But one, I guess you can, I don't know. If I'm Casanova, I would wonder how he would take this. Because obviously, his homeboy does not want to turn informant and doesn't want to start including him, lying on him, or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So that might be a good thing. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Casanova's homeboy, Jayecee, getting rid of his attorney or trying to write a letter to get rid of his attorney or his public defender because he was trying to flip him is a good thing? Or do you think that, man, for Jayecee, it might not be the best thing after all? Now, with that, this has been your boy, Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.